Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike here. Welcome to a special episode where we talk about the new products from the September 10th, 2019 keynote, which includes a new iPhone, the iPhone Pro, Apple Watch 5, the new iPad, Apple Arcade, and Apple TV. Before we get started, I'm going to show you my beer this evening. It is a Weihenstephaner Fest beer. It's for, they brewed special for Oktoberfest. It's supposed to be the oldest brewery in the world since 1040, like the year 1040 is what it says on the bottle. I had a friend like 5 years ago that was like, hey, try this one beer, and it was this, and I'm like, this is one of the best beers I've ever had, which is usually how that goes, But this is the Fest beer edition. There's one, like this one's like multicolored around the bezel, the bezel. I've been watching iPhone stuff too much, but around this the label. So there's one that's like blue around the label, and that's like the original one, and that one's really good. So if you see that Weihenstephaner, tough to spell, just type in WEIH in Google, and it should probably fill out the rest of it. But yeah, very good beer, one of my favorites. And the festival edition, the Fest beer, Oktoberfest edition, is good. So, now let's dive into the keynote. And the first thing they went over was Apple Arcade, which personally I'm all about. I'm on board. I'm getting it. It comes out September 19th. There is a 1 month trial, free trial that you get, and then after that it's $5 a month. And they announced before that you'd be able to switch just from your iPhone to your Mac to your iPad to even your Apple TV, and that was confirmed. They were showing that again. Super cool. I mean, without a huge drop in quality or features or anything like that. Just from one, you get your progress from one to the other. Which you have to use online access for, but you can play these games offline. You can download them and play them, and then sync up your progress, apparently, which is pretty cool. You can share the subscription with up to 5 family members, so it says family members in this one, so maybe you can't share it with your friends. I don't know. We'll see when it comes out what that's like. It's mostly indie developers. There's 100+ games at launch already on Apple Arcade, which, I mean, amazing. $5 a month. Why not? Just give them a shot. And they seem like cool games. Like the graphics on them are really nice. Apple likes to get involved with, if you're on the dev side, that Apple likes their things a certain way. And so I expect Apple Arcade to be pretty legit. They also have some games with Lego. I think there was 2 games I saw with Lego. One that looks more like it's like a Mario meets like Clash of Clans kind of thing with your friends. It looks really cool. And a Sonic racing game. So those are the 2 that I had heard of the companies. The rest of them look like pretty cool indie games. Looking forward to that. I'm glad that some indie developers get to get their games out there and get their name out there through Apple Arcade. That maybe, if they were selling a standalone game for $5 on the App Store, that was awesome, but no one would ever see it. So this is a cool thing for Apple Arcade and a cool thing for game developers. Up-and-coming game developers. The established ones, those guys are set. But there's a lot of upside in this for upcoming game developers. Anyway, Apple TV Plus, they announced coming out November 1st. There's a 1-week free trial, and then it's $5 a month, $4.99. In some of the trailers, you could see that they have serious lineups. I don't know how good the shows are, but they got some studly lineups. I mean, it was, just some notes I have here. Aaron Paul, Steve Carell, Jennifer Aniston, Jason Momoa, Octavia Spencer, and then something with Oprah coming soon. I don't know. My personal favorite was Snoopy in Space. That looks awesome. I might do the 1-week trial just to see that. I love those old cartoons. Those are pretty funny. you get a free Apple TV Plus subscription for a year when you purchase an Apple product like a iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Mac, or Apple TV, which is pretty cool. Access for up to 6 people. So they said people in this one, and they said family members in the arcade one. So I wonder if can you share them like Netflix or what? Like, what's the catch here? I guess we'll find out. Anyway, new iPad. It is available September 30th. It's clear from the videos and the presentation they did that they're trying to replace the laptop, and control like education, have like the main educational device be an iPad, which is cool. I had the original, like the first iPad, and just the apps weren't very great for the ebooks that I had, but I saw the potential in having it as a as a device to learn on, but the apps just weren't there yet, and it was just clunky. It was about the same weight as my laptop, like. So the new one has a 10.2-inch Retina display. It's $329, which is pretty sweet. It's a pretty good deal for that thing. They've added the smart keyboard support that was in the smart keyboard on the iPad Pro. They've added Apple Pencil support. And as you know, if you're a developer and listening to this, the iPad OS is going to be on it. That allows people to have their messages open right here, like layers of windows, and a lot easier like interoperability. I think it's about time that they made their own operating system, because a lot of times like iPad apps will just be like full screen, 2x screen iPhone apps, which kind of suck. So they're moving in the right direction with that. The iPad OS looks pretty useful as a developer. I guess we'll see the full extent of it when it comes out again, September 30th. When does the iPad OS come out? I believe it's September 30th as well. Could be September 20th when the new iOS comes out, or September 19th. Sorry, that's my best guess. But I have notes here, but it's not in my notes. You can check them out on GitHub. If you look at my GitHub, my name is Michael Miles 1, and it's under, let me see, Apple New Product Notes, September 2019. So if you want to take a look at that, maybe add a pull request or something like that, that's cool. So back to the iPad. It's going to have up to 10 hours of battery with usage and everything. And it weighs about 1 pound. So 10.2-inch screen, about 1 pound. That's pretty solid. Pretty solid stuff there. And next they moved on to the Apple Watch 5, which was announced. It's available September 20th. The watchOS 6 is going to be available September 19th. It features an always-on Retina display, so like it dims, but it stays on. So like a lot of times that I've seen, I don't have an Apple Watch, but I've seen like people, they gotta like shake it a little bit to look at the time. With this one, it's always on. You can always see what time it is. Pretty neat. They've added a couple more styles for the bezel, which is they have aluminum, stainless steel, and now they've added titanium and ceramic. They've added the Compass app, which they actually give developers access to, which is pretty fascinating to me. I think there's some good usage to come from that, as far as I might actually have to get it if something like AllTrails comes out with the Compass access. That would be really useful for that. Or any kind of navigation. It could really up navigation by having immediate statistics there, you know what I mean? For like as soon as you move a little bit, it knows. We got the dedicated watch app store, which is pretty sweet. They've announced that previously, but the dedicated watch app store combined with Swift UI is just going to be awesome for developers. I think we're going to see a boom of Apple Watch apps because they're pretty simple. You don't need a ton of things in an Apple Watch app. You want it to perform specific smaller functions. But I think people will get creative with it, and that'll be fun to watch. They have a new noise app that'll check decibels and alert you if you're, like if you're at a rock concert, it'll tell you like 120 decibels, you're going to go deaf if you keep listening to this. Unfortunately, they don't check the music in my AirPods and what level that's playing at. I don't think. That'd be cool if they did. Or not. I don't want to be lectured when I'm like, I picked this loud music. But anyway, so the Watch 5 comes out September 20th, and it's priced at $499. They've discontinued the Watch 4, and they're making the Watch 3 available for $199, which is pretty cool. The Watch OS 6 comes out September 19th. It supports watches Series 3 through 6 on launch, and then they said they're going to come out with 1 and 2. It works on 1 and 2 too, but it's going to take them a little longer. The Apple Watch 5 looks a lot like the 4 to me. I don't see much of a difference. That's probably why they discontinued the 4, made the 5 and the 3. I'm going to probably buy the 4 used or something if I did buy this. But anyway, let's move on to the big boy that we all love, the iPhone 11. Now, this one is priced at $599, which is pretty cool. I think they've felt some price pressure from other, things like the Google Pixel 3a, I think it is. That's like, it's right around that price, if not lower. The pre-orders for the iPhone 11 start September 13th at 5 a.m. Pacific. So make sure Pacific time here, like in California time. So make sure that if you want one, you're in front of your computer for that. If you want to be like the first person to have it. I have an upgrade coming up in December, so I'm going to swap them out then. So yeah, it's going to be available. It's coming out September 20th. It's got 6 colors that looks pretty cool. A dual camera system, which was the kind of the big thing that the rumors were about and everything. They're both 12 megapixel. The reason that they have 2 is one is a wide angle lens, so you can capture a lot more area in the picture. And they're both 12 megapixel. So another thing they've added is slow motion on the front camera, which allows for slofies. That's a new word that they just invented. Slow motion selfies. Which I'm excited for. I tweeted about, I said, like, I don't care about what the haters say. I'm going to be in the middle of the App Store taking slofies. So I just want you guys to know what you're getting into listening to this podcast. Because you're listening to a guy speak who takes selfies at the Apple Store. So, thanks. I'm not sure why you'd listen, but I sure do appreciate it. Anyway, night mode on the cameras, which is awesome and required at this point because, Google's night mode was pretty cool. After using it, it's like, yeah, they have to have this. It's got to be on the next Apple product, or like people are gonna be like, well, what the hell? Or because it's just so useful. You don't want to be that dude with the flash going off like in the middle of a restaurant or something, or like a dimly lit bar taking selfies and the flash goes off. God, even I won't do that. So yeah, we're not doing that anymore. That's great. Haptic touch, no 3D touch. No 3D touch on the iPhone 11 Pro, which we'll get to later, but interesting step. I think that like the cost outweighed the benefits for 3D touch. I don't really think I'm going to miss 3D touch. I never really added features for it, so the long press with haptic feedback is the same as 3D touch. I mean, you get the same feeling, and it's probably a lot cheaper for Apple to do. They have upped the HD recording game using machine learning. They called it Deep Fusion. So, you know, super fancy stuff here. High level recording stuff. So the HD videos, I mean, I kid, but like the way that they've made the software work with the hardware in all aspects, not just video, but especially like video. I mean, it's just clean, it buffers quickly. The video on my iPhone XR is good. Much less, yeah, I'm sure the 11 is going to be even better. And it's because it's the most popular camera in the world, so they innovate on that. You know, that's why they make a big deal out of these cameras. It's double the water resistance of the iPhone 10 or 10R. It goes down 2 meters for 30 minutes. Pretty cool. It's got a wideband U1 chip, which kind of I'm curious to like how it works. I want to see it in action, but basically what it does is like a GPS for people around you. So like, you know, AirDrop is more precise. Like it says that you can literally, you point your phone at your friend's phone and they'll be the first ones on AirDrop to pop up. So that seems pretty cool. I bet there's going to be some cool uses for that. That'll be fun to watch develop. You know, every time they add something cool like this, some developer comes in and makes good use of it. It's awesome. So that's like my favorite part of these things coming out with new processors and new capabilities that like, oh, I can't wait to see what developers are going to do with this. That's what they say too, because they don't have to pay for it. They just make the hardware, and then people make the software that makes you want to get the hardware. That's a win-win for them. And also they have the A13 Bionic chip, which is, you know, supposedly like the fastest chip in a smartphone. It's going to be in the Pro as well. It has fast charging support through, you know, you get a wall plug and then there's a USB-C port that comes out of the wall, like the adapter, and then it goes into your Lightning port, and you can use fast charging that way. The technology with USB-C, I'd love if they added some USB-C support. Oh my god. Just so you could fast charge it, you know, with a normal cable. But whatever, it's a great product. I'm going to buy the iPhone 11 when it comes out, or when my upgrade opens up. I think that's December. So, yeah, it's cool. Not a ton upgraded, but, you know, if I have an upgrade, might as well use it. I get an upgrade every year, so just, you know, why not get the new one every year? Especially like for development, you want to, you know, stay on the cutting edge of products, and you want things to compile quickly when you're building your own apps and running them on your device. So the A13 will help with that. So yeah, I'll be getting the 11, not the 11 Pro or the 11 Max. But if you are so inclined, both financially and technically, then let's talk about it a little bit. The first note I have here is "so pro" in all caps, and that's because the guy that did the presentation, I think, is it Phil? No, Phil might have been the iPhone guy, but whoever it was kept talking about like, oh, very pro. This camera is pro. Like, dude, okay. Like, what, you know, what's the standard for pro? Like, the prices are, for the Pro starts at $1,000, $999. The Pro Max is $1,099, so $1,099, like $1,099. Pre-orders and availability are the same as the iPhone 11. September 13th, 5 a.m. Pacific time. Available September 20th. This one has 3 cameras. Count them. 3 cameras. Oh my gosh. And so same as the iPhone 11, it's got an ultra wide 12 megapixel and a wide 12 megapixel. It also has a 12 megapixel telephoto camera that helps stabilize the photos that you take in normal zoom, and allows for 2x optical zoom. You know, looks, I mean, the pictures look amazing in the demos that they had, but they were, you know, they're demos. But yeah, I mean, the iPhone camera quality is amazing. It has got, like, what they can do with this, like, cameras are thick, you know, the lenses. The way that the lenses are made, they should be thicker than this, so it's very impressive that they do this. Anyway, it's a 4K video recording on the iPhone 11 Pro at 60 frames per second with the same deep fusion technology. So it's going to look really good too, because they have a Super Retina XDR, which they claim is like having a Pro Display XDR on your iPhone. You remember that one that the stand was $1,000? So the specs for the screen, that, you know, I'm not much of a hardware guy. I like software more. But the specs on the screen, 2,000,000 to 1 contrast ratio, 458 pixels per inch, 800 nits, and I understand the other ones, but like nits, I don't know what a nit is. Like, you know, maybe you could comment on this video if you're watching on YouTube, or, you know, someone tell me what a nit is. If you could explain that to me, I'd be very happy. 800 nits normally, 1200 nits for HDR recording and photos. I think it has something to do with the light, the lighting on the screen. The fast charger, the USB-C to Lightning fast charger, is included, which is pretty cool. You get 4 more hours of battery life with the 11 Pro, 5 hours with the 11 Pro Max, which is still also, you know, very impressive, considering that, you know, the screen's apparently brighter and we're going to have more battery. Like, that's awesome. Again, this one has haptic touch, like I mentioned earlier. They've totally nixed 3D touch. Comes in 4 colors. There's a lot of high-level technical details that you can check out on their website. But it has the same A13 Bionic chip that's in the iPhone 11. So my verdict is I'm getting the iPhone 11, not getting the Watch 5, getting the Watch 4 used because it looks very similar. Getting Arcade. I'd like to get an iPad, but that's more of a, like, you know, I'll ask for it for Christmas. It's one of those things, like, I'm not trying to spend a bunch of money on. I probably would, if, you know, I had a full-time job doing iOS, a little more financial security. I'd probably get this iPad. I really want the Apple Watch 4, so I'm probably going to get that soon. Whenever I find a good price for it on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever. Getting the Apple Arcade. I'll do the free trial of Apple TV Plus. Just check out that show with Jason Momoa, because I don't know, it just looks badass. So we'll do that. The Apple Arcade I'm definitely getting. I like video games, and I like little platform video games like this. I have my only consoles in Nintendo Switch. I like those kind of things, so I'm sure I'll like Apple Arcade. And if you keep listening to Swift Life podcast or subscribe to my YouTube, you know, you'll hear what I have to say about Apple Arcade when it comes out. But yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. I hope you got some value out of this. It was definitely shorter than the keynote with all of the information. The videos are pretty good in the keynote, but like, I don't really care that much. Like, the facts are facts. It was an hour and 45 minutes long. This was 25 minutes long. So, see you very soon on another episode of Swift Life, or probably making a video on GraphQL coming up. It's like a, you know, REST API call, if you're not familiar with GraphQL. It has a lot of benefits, but it's still in its early stages. But I'm going to make a video of how to put that in your iOS app. That's going to be my next one coming out. keep an eye out for that and for Swift Life Podcast, and see you later.